How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Mega Rule 31. Mega, good evening, and it's good to be back on the video. Sorry for last week for the technical difficulties, you should say. But we are back at the Watkins Glen for the Go Bowling at the Glen.
Yeah, but it's an auto race. It's just kind of weird.
Not my favorite course. Definitely donated today. Still a little salty about how well that went down. I was out in the boonies, so I didn't have any service, and I didn't really have much updates. So just kind of what happened. So now I'm going to have some time to research, talk this out with you, and hopefully, make for a better day tomorrow. So let's talk a little bit about strategy and what we usually play for here at the road courses.
Well, the thing is, it's almost like a plate track here because you really want to look for like place differential where you can find it. It's a long course, so you don't have many laps or fast laps. And the fast laps can be spread out with guys that just pit. And so it's not even the leaders that are necessarily like leading as if it was like a Bristol or a short track where you've got 200, 300, 400 laps. So,
yeah.
Now in FanDuel, like you kind of want the flip. You want to try to pick the winner because you get 43 points for that, and then like try to get guys with good finishing position. But for DK, I think we want to try to find guys that can move up. It's hard to pass here, but not impossible. It's one of the faster road courses with some of like the longer straightaways, but it's not like a fake road course where they're actually driving on a racetrack for a little bit of time and then they all have to slam on their brakes and try to get around a corner and they can make illegal moves and things like that. I mean, none of that comes into play. It's more like Sonoma, but it's unique in itself, but Sonoma is a little bit more technical.
Sure.
So it should be fun. I think you definitely have some guys that looked really good in practice here. The Toyotas seem to continue to struggle. So be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yep. And the other element to all of this is the playoffs. Guys are going to see this as an opportunity to get themselves into the playoffs with a win. We're getting to the point where it's kind of win and get in, or, if we get to Daytona and we got 16 winners, that track could breed all kinds of craziness. So you got to get a win, or if you're Blaney or Byron, you need to keep finishing in front of the other one to make sure you're in the lead in points for that 16th spot. It's a really interesting dynamic we have going for the playoffs this year. So with all of that said in mind, you want to start with 38th position and go from there?
I think we'll start at the top.
Let's start at the top with Chase Elliott, 10-7.
He's obviously he's a master at this course. He's had multiple wins here. He should have almost won. Just like goofy stuff that kept him out of it. So I know they skipped it in 2020, the year that I believe he won the championship, but because of COVID in New York. But he's just been super solid here. Like he didn't even need to race the Xfinity race to get extra reps. Like he's obviously second fastest in practice, like nailed the qualifying. So I find it hard to believe that he's not going to win this. I think he's going to get out there and have a pretty dominant race and show why, he has been pretty masterful at this track. So I think I feel safe playing him in cash, which, you always are apprehensive, but I think there was a road course, maybe it was Sonoma, where like it was like you don't want to play number 1 and 2, and then number 1 and 2 ended up like fighting out for the whole time, and they both were optimal, and maybe it was Elliott and Chastain. I'm thinking of, I can't remember. Chastain was one of them. I can't remember who the other one was. And you're just like, what, you shouldn't play them because they're starting 1 and 2 in DK and they have so much to lose. But they were the clear 1 and 2 for a reason starting the race, and they were a clear 1 and 2 throughout the race also. So
now practice does tell a lot of the story when it comes to road courses. So definitely going to be heavily owned on Chase Elliott. Kyle Larson is kind of something I'm not entirely sure which stance to be on. I think I might just go all in on Chase and then see if I can be underweight on Larson and hope it pays off. Because I think a lot of people might try to play both.
Yeah, and I agree with Larson being underweight on him. I know he won Xfinity. I know he
Yep.
had to start at the back of the track and
Yep.
go up here, but Kyle Larson wasn't racing for any points in there, so his pit strategy could be different. He is racing for points here. And the other thing with Kyle Larson is this is a different car, and he's got a love-hate relationship with his tires. And we've seen him cut these tires down quite often. Hasn't done it recently, so maybe he's
Yep.
figured it out, but it still always scares me. So I think he's a cash play, but he's not a priority as much as Chase is for me.
I agree. And that's the stance I'm going to take. Michael McDowell, I think I agree here. 7-1 fade.
He
Just
could
started
win.
too high.
Yeah, he could win this race, but he's only 18th in practice. FanDuel, great play. Put him in there because you're looking for finishing position.
Yep.
DK, I think he has too much that he could potentially lose here. I look for him next week in Daytona, but here he's a good road course driver. He's
He
got
is.
decent car, but I don't think he can hang with the big boys up here enough. I mean, it's not much to pay off his price tag at 71. So if you want to take a shot at GPP, that's fine, but I
Sure.
just think it's a fade.
Yep. I think if he's going to garner ownership, I'm going to try to beat it instead with someone else. William Byron, 7,700. Interesting price tag. Very, very slumpy right now. But this is, he didn't really have a good Xfinity race. That kind of buried me today. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'll gauge your interest.
I have him as a GPP just because he hasn't put together a complete road course. He's had issues here and
He
there,
hasn't put a
and
good race
he
together in general right
he's
now.
probably racing for points. So
Yeah,
he's probably going to stay out and get as many points as he can because he's
that's
so
right.
close at the end of stage 2. So then he's going to start at stage 3 towards the back because he's going to pit after everybody else. And it's going to be a tough uphill battle to try to get back to the top. So I don't want him.
Okay.
Cash.
GVP to fade. Tyler Reddick, 10-3, winner at Road America earlier this year. Also winner at the, I can't remember
Indy
the latest.
one.
Indy, yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Yeah,
So back-to-back road course victories. I think you have to take that seriously.
Yeah, but I don't think I think Chastain had the better car there, and I know he cut the corner and stuff, and actually chased it. I mean, that whole corner took out so many good cars
Yeah, that
that,
corner sucked.
and I know Reddick had won the pole, and I know Reddick did really well and ended up winning the race. I'm not going to take that away from him. I think
Sure.
he's figured out something here at road courses, and this is the first time he's earned his baby blue badge. For those of you who haven't watched before, the baby blue guys are not elite, but they're better than average here. And the guys that are in orange are road course ringers, guys that just primarily come in and run road courses, but don't run regular cup races. So he
Sure.
finally got his baby blue stripe here. And I think you can play him in cash. And I think that he's a good bet to win the race.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think playing 210K guys, I mean, if you can get him in, I think he'd be the one to pair. But I think we had to talk with the next guy, even AJ Allmendinger here is
Winner of
almost
3 road courses in the past.
right, and he's really good at it. He finished second in Xfinity.
Mm-hmm.
He looked decent here. He's third in practice. This Collie car isn't as fast and as dominant as the Xfinity ones are,
Right.
but it is more of a level playing field with these new cars. Like on most race tracks, Culley's been almost not an inferior team, but like a middle tier team.
Right.
But I think they can make up with it. And just the way he understands his track and how many reps and practice he's had here. Reddick has had some, but AJ has just so much more. So I look at the two of these together. Like if you're playing Elliott and Reddick, I like it, but I would think maybe Allmendinger would be the better choice here to save you some money to get some other guys in. So you're not playing some of these 5K, 6K guys that are very scary.
So the thing I like about Allmendinger the most, not in the playoffs, is he eligible to race for the playoffs?
No,
No,
because the 16 cars rotated between he and
that's
Hemrick
right.
and Gregson.
I'm glad you stopped me before I said something stupid. Well, then he's just going to want to win the race. And maybe it's not for the playoff points, but he loves to win the race just to win the race. So he's going to be on a different strategy. Maybe he stays, maybe he pits early on the stages and he tries to make sure he sets himself up at the end to be into the top 5 at the end to win. I think we've seen him do it before at Indy. He was out there, or it was either Road America. He didn't have the best car, as you've mentioned, with Colleague not having the best car often, but they're going to take those altering strategies, and he's a good enough road course driver to make sure that they're in the right position to put themselves is a team in that right position at the end. So for that reason, I agree with you. I would like Allmendinger at maybe half the ownership of Reddick, or, we don't really necessarily know the exact percentages yet where that all shakes out. That's a good teaser to get you into the Discord. Talk to us in the Discord. We're going to be able to figure out some of those intricate questions for you, and we'll be able to answer those things like, where is his ownership at? Should I be overweight on him? Should I be underweight on him? You can get in that Discord through our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS or on our website, FSIDFS.com. You can find those links in the comments. Join us, gentlemen. Yeah, I like Allmendinger as a better play. Probably because I don't think the ownership is going to be there. People are going to see the 2 wins at the road courses in the game logs for Reddick, and I think that gravitates more ownership from the public. I don't think anyone's going to own Chris Buescher. Me and you have learned our lesson over the course of the year of how well for some reason Buescher has done at qualifying and race trim for this car, and I am not getting bit here. 7,800. I'm going to play him over Byron and McDowell.
Yes, and if he's one that really needs a win, and this could get him into the championship.
Yep.
He's had solid returns the rest of the year, so he's decent in points. He just needs that win to boost him up with all the other winners they've had this year.
Yeah.
And he does perform usually well at plate tracks too for Daytona. So, which is it's just it's a lottery anyways. So, I like him.
Yeah, it's a GBP to play to be overweight on. Maybe not cash. I could see it, but TVPs for sure. I mean, because there's other cash plays,
right?
We get that are going to have that safe place differential. But I think Buescher has a really good chance of finishing inside the top 5. Cindric 9,800, typically good on road courses. Weird price tag for me.
Yeah, just too high here. That's why he's a GPP. Only 13 outside the top 10 in practice.
Yeah.
The Fords have been okay. They haven't been as bad as the Toyotas. Obviously,
what
Chevy's.
form is he in though? There's no recent form I can hold on to that he's in a groove with his driving.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
he's been good at road courses, but yeah, other people take him out a lot.
What's that?
Other people take him out a lot.
Yeah, and you're right, but he's not putting himself in the right positions to win. And I don't think 9,800 is the price tag I want to play for Cindric. Like if he was in the 7K range, I'd be all over it.
Yeah, absolutely.
98.
Yeah, way too high.
Too high. Low owned GBP play maybe, but no, not for me. Daniel Suarez 9,400 winner.
Before you go any further,
okay.
If I said, look at hey TK, 3 Penske cars, who's going to be the most expensive? Would you ever say Austin Cindric?
No.
Blaney's 9.2 and
Logano's
8.2. Yeah. Crazy.
That is very. I would rather play Ryan Blaney 10 times over than Cindric in this position.
Yeah, you save $600 and you have almost 20 place differential points. Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. So that's your breakdown. Perfectly said. Next up is Daniel Suarez at 9,400. Decent in practice, winner at Sonoma. I feel comfortable playing him in GBPs.
Yeah, I have him as cash because I think that he could definitely win this race or finish second. So there's some place differential there and a good finishing spot. But so I think he has some floor for cash, but GPP, definitely has upside.
Driver 2, driver 3. Maybe there's upside in leading or winning the race. Worthy of multi-entry GBP format. Single entry, I'm not as high on him, but I think that maybe there's some lower ownership that you could take away, and maybe he's a better pivot off of Allmendinger chalk. So I could see it. Kyle Busch 8,900. Kyle Busch is a really good driver. There's a lot of contract stuff going on. I think it's a distraction with the team and with him. It wasn't there in practice. Something feels off. I'm not as high on Kyle Busch as I should at a road course right now.
Yeah. I was a GPP. His price has fallen. He just can't get out of his way. But you know what? I think I'm going to drop $20 tomorrow for him to win this race. I just have a weird feeling. Yeah.
sad to see him under the 9K.
Yeah.
It's
I
yeah. What's I don't
I
know.
I think I'm gonna bet him to win it tomorrow because I
Sure.
just like for some weird reason he's definitely going my GPP lineup. I it doesn't make sense, but that's
No.
when these things happen when
Yep.
they don't make sense.
Yep. Yep. And now you just completely recoursed me. I've been getting bit in the butt with Kyle Busch
Oh, me
lately.
too.
You know,
Yeah. So this is the last stand on Kyle Busch. The last time he goes to my GPP
you're
lineup,
not playing him at Daytona.
no,
So
absolutely not.
yeah, if he wants to get in to the playoffs
I
feeling
would play BJ
confident,
McLeod over
you're
Kyle
you're
or Todd
joking, but I
Bodine.
agree.
Yeah.
All right, Alex Bowman at 8K. Not your typical road course driver. He doesn't have the blue. He's done some things in Xfinity, but the cup form is so bad. This is probably a fade for me.
I have them in cash only because the Hendricks cars look so dominant
They
in
did look good.
practice and they were very consistent. I think he's got enough floor for it, but I might back him
I'm
down to
nervous of
GPP.
the
Okay,
team form is making me nervous.
that's fine. And again, he might, but he's got 2 wins this year, right?
Yeah,
So he
not
should be in the
much.
playoffs. So
He's
he
gonna.
doesn't have to go for points.
You're right. Who knows their mentality? They've been at such a bad run of form right now. This team, they might just be looking to get as many points as they possibly can to get into the playoffs, or they try to, come away with some form. I don't know. I'm just so wishy-washy on this team right now. There's just a lot going on with the 48 and 18. I don't know what to do with either one of them. So I'm gonna have to further
He's in
dive
better
into
form
it.
than Byron, though.
Man, yeah, all of them. They're just but the price tags are so cheap on all of
Yeah.
them. So that's what's really sucking you in. Austin Dillon, 6,500. Uh
I
not
have him as
yeah, I don't know.
his average finish in the last all the road courses this year, I think, is like 14th or 15th. He has been super consistent.
Weird.
Although I think he did get taken out. He was a really good play in Indy and he got taken out. It wasn't his fault.
Yep, he did yep, he was part
But
of
other than
Indy
that,
actually.
he has been very consistent. Like he doesn't get his blue stripe yet, but at
I
6,500, I think he can finish in the top 15. And
Did you
even though
notice? Hold on, I'm sorry. Did you notice he's gotten a lot better since his show came out?
I didn't even know he had a show.
Yeah, he's got a TNT show.
What's it called?
God, I couldn't tell you. I
Thank
just
God I'm
was
not my brother. I still have a ride.
it's something with his wife. Ever since this show's dropped on TNT, he's quietly been better. And I think it's because now there's more spotlight on him and and people are starting to wonder why on earth there's a TV show about Austin Dillon. And it's like, I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. But okay, last thing. Does the practice time scare you?
A little bit, but again, I didn't expect it to be super high. So I just wanted him to kind of stand out in this range here as a cash option.
Okay.
And just full disclosure for everybody, in my cash line, I have Elliott and I don't have anybody else in the top 15.
Sure.
Everybody else is down.
Yep. With the way there's a certain driver driving right now, it makes a lot of sense. We'll talk about him later. Justin Haley, 6K. I'm a yes.
Yeah, I have him as a GPP play because he has been consistent here. I like Dylan a
Price
little bit
tag away. Way
better
more.
with. I like Dylan's equipment a little bit better, but it is a Cully car. He has studied a lot with AJ Allmendinger, and the fruits are showing. He has really, really improved.
Yeah.
With his teammate has helped him a lot here. 12th in practice, so I think he can
Car
get a top
setups, too.
15.
Yeah, car setups are better. You have, and the 31's the better calling car too. So I'm at 6K, absolutely. It'll be my highest or my lowest price, highest starting position play that I have. Chase Briscoe, 8,800. Man, I just haven't seen him do anything lately. and I keep playing him, but he just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he's okay here, like 7th in practice. So I mean, he has
Sure.
that going for him. Um, he was last guy in my FanDuel lineup for cash just because that's where I landed.
It's
And I
like
didn't
a
and I didn't
Japanese
hate
favorite.
it. So he's a little bit expensive here at 88. So it's really
Right.
GPP. I think he's got potential stay in the top 15. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on to Brad Keselowski, 7,300. No, thank you.
Yeah, I get it, but the only thing is I think he's gonna be gunning for the win. Like he can't
True.
point his way in. So
True.
that's all he has. He's got here in Daytona. So I think it's going to be all out. And
That's
although
fair.
we hate him, he's been annoying and he's like killed us when he hasn't played. We haven't played him. He's like the Josh Williams of of Cup here, I think. So
How fall he is far, or how far he has fallen.
yeah.
All right, Ty Gibbs, 6,900. Really interesting spot here. If he's going to be low owned, I'm going to be way overweight.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be super high owned here with all the other
Gonna
ones. He was
keep
because
trying until
all
he
the
gets till he
Toyotas have
nails it.
just really struggled. So,
Yeah,
um, but he takes over for Kurt Busch, and Kurt Busch was always a decent road course driver. So I'm
yeah.
sure there's some wisdom there. He did okay in Cup. I think he finished or Xfinity. I think he finished like third or fourth today. So
Yeah. I mean, 6,900 too. I mean, the price tag is nice. Perfect spot for GPPs. If he's low owned, great spot to be. Joey Hand, this guy's come up pretty big in road courses this year for Rick Ware Racing in that 15. He's really handled this car well. Seems to really get it. I mean, he'll be in the player pool for sure. I just won't have him in any particular spot. Makes it make any sense?
yeah, it's just I think he's more of a GPP play just because the equipment is so cheap. I mean, it's all the same stuff with this new car, but they just don't have the tech and research and everything. Oh, that's another thing on Busher. He did the tests for the new car and the tire here at Watkins Glen.
Even
And
bigger.
that's what helped him really with like some of the other races. So just back note for him there. But speaking of testing and stuff, but I just don't think that Rick Ware has the research ability and stuff. I don't think they really have. I mean, they probably have partnership maybe with like one of these other Ford groups, but I just really don't think that I like him. He's a good driver, but I just wish he was in a better car. There's so many other
Yeah,
open rides here that like why couldn't he have landed in another one?
sure. We don't disagree. Ross Chastain, 10K flat.
The Trackhouse cars have definitely been the fastest at road courses and everywhere. He did win one of them, didn't he?
He won the one where he wrecked Allmendinger into
Coda,
Alex Bowman. I believe that was Coda. Yeah,
Coda. Okay. So yeah, there's definitely place differential here, definitely potential to finish up in the top five.
could
Um,
be a cash option. Popular
yeah,
one too.
yeah, absolutely. He just didn't
Mhm.
fit into the build that I decided.
And that's, I think, fair because if he finishes anywhere outside the top 10, it pays off. You're only going to get somewhere around 30 something points,
Right.
and you're not going to have maybe the upside of someone like Allmendinger, Suarez, maybe a player we'll talk about later. So
Yep.
Todd Gilliland, 5,700, decent road course driver.
Yep.
Front row, not a bad team. 5,700. We got a sub 6K play. I don't mind it. He'll be in the player pool.
Yeah, definitely GPP here. Like, and he's hung around most of the road courses where like, oh, maybe he's starting a little bit too high, but he's held his own. So I
I
think
much
he's
prefer him over Burton or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
there you go. Joey Logano, 8,200. Unbelievable price tag.
I think he's gonna be high owned. I don't mind it here.
I mean, he's 8,200 and he's got a car that's better than, you know, well, I shouldn't say better, but is equal to some of the other drivers in this price range. I think he's going to be a maybe a potential low owned single entry play for me.
Yeah, yeah, I like him. I like him in cash. I think just the price and he's not known like really as a road course guy, but he's been around in Cup
Yeah.
long enough to have some experience here and have
The history.
more experience than some of these other ones.
Ooh, history is a knock. In his last 2 races, he's got an average finish of 22nd. But new car, who knows? Maybe they get it right tomorrow. But I will take that into account. Not seeing the good history on his side. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 6,100.
No,
I'm gonna have to agree with you here on the fade.
no, he's just really faded this whole season, and I think he's started to. I think he's
It's a great way to
starting
put
to.
it.
I think he started like too high here, and he's like 33rd. And it just JT this team just really hasn't done well
Yeah,
with this new car and everything. So
right. Next up, we have car owner and car owner driver. We have Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace, 86, 68. So, interesting spot here. Who's your lean here? Denny's got some course history.
either
Yeah. Bubba Wallace
Bubba is horrible on road courses.
he got was it last road course at Indy where he had that excellent finish, made us look foolish for calling him a dumb play.
Well, it's only because of all the other cars crashed out. Like, do you remember who the top five was? Like, look at the top five there. I think,
Yeah.
like, didn't
Pretty
Cody
sure Harris
Ware?
Burton's in there too.
Yeah, like, yeah, it was like the most bizarre.
Yeah. No, I get it because it made me look foolish. I'm surprised I made money that day. So, yeah, I'm not gonna play Bubba. I'll probably play some Denny, just a little bit in the player pool. About him and Joey, probably about the same amount. Somewhere around that 20% mark because of the price tag. That's all I have.
Okay.
I don't feel confident in either. Kevin Harvick, man on fire,
Yep.
8,400,
Great
probably the
form.
preferred play in this 8K range.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Really, really like
Back-to-back
him.
wins. You can kind of take this week off if he felt like it. I could see that theory. They aren't really strong road course, driver setup, not really their strong suit. So I could see them taking a back seat, maybe get some stage points and go home. So there's that worry. Right. But I don't know. Guy's killing it right now. He looks like the Kevin Harvick of old. Practice times, maybe they suggest my theory is correct. So be cautious, I think.
Stuart Haas hasn't really had a ton of speed this year
True.
on certain tracks, but I think just his experience compensates for a lot of. Remember, a lot of these guys haven't seen this course. Like they ran it
Yeah.
last year, but they didn't have it in 2020. And I think the more laps you've had here, the more experience, the more you understand how to drive the course. And I think that helps him here. He's better than a 24th place car.
You're right. And he's got an average finish of 7.5 in the last 2 races. So thanks for reeling me back in on that. Martin Truex Jr., 9,100, an average finish of 2.5 in the last 2 races has really shown out here. The Gen car hasn't been his car, though. Are we feeling confident on the daughter's favorite driver?
No, I don't think I'm gonna be playing much of him. I think
He's going to
again
have a good year.
he'll be he'll be trying to get stage points here
Yep.
just to help his playoff.
Yeah. I honestly, he could honestly miss the playoffs this year. And it's
Yeah,
crazy to think.
the Toyotas have been not really good at this at road courses all year. They continue to struggle. 27th in practice, qualified 25th. Nothing's pointing in the right direction for him.
Except track history. That's all I will give him. Ryan Blaney, 9,200. I think he's the much better play in this scenario.
Absolutely.
Matt DiBenedetto did really well no, it's the Wood Brothers car. Excuse me. Blaney has an average finish of 9.5. I was thinking for some reason Blaney was in the Wood Brothers car, so I will save that Wood Brothers car take for another driver, but I don't like that driver anyway, so I don't really know what I'm talking about here. Your thoughts on Blaney?
I really like him here just because 17th in practice, and he's one that has always qualified well and just not been able to sustain it. But here, I think there's if he rises to where he's averaged his finishes, then you have some nice place differential. It's been where he started like third and ends up like
Yep.
15th. I like him 26th and ending up 15th. That's helpful and useful.
Yep. Really like Ryan Blaney tomorrow. All right. Kimi Räikkönen.
Yes.
You have anything on this?
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
a real person.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
actual. This is finally the third Trackhouse car that they put
Okay.
out there for the whole diversity initiative,
Got
and
it.
this guy is a former Formula One superstar.
No shit. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. 7,600. He's getting a price boost though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just because of the pedigree on him, and this Trackhouse car is, everybody said it's pretty fast. It's 20th in
Yeah.
practice, but
Practice doesn't look bad.
look at what Suarez has done, and look at what Chastain has done. Like, their knowledge of these cars and setup and stuff, plus his skill as a road course driver from F1 experience, it bodes really well. I have him as GPP just because the price is a little bit high,
Yeah.
but
That was the first red
I
flag
don't
for me.
struggle playing him in cash, and I think he could be a sleeper here.
Interesting. All right. Well, something to monitor too. Heading into tomorrow, Ty Dillon, 4,200, 5,100.
This is a solid cash play with a lot of floor. He,
Wow. If
out
you
of
want the
all the
stars and
5K guy
scrubs.
ones, is the most consistent.
Hmm. He's not a bad road course driver either. I
No,
mean, he doesn't have your blue tag, and I think that's fair. I've seen him run well, and he's like the new age Ryan Newman. He just sits around the back, he waits for the right time, and then when it's time, he seems to have his nose somewhere in between 16th and 20th. So I could understand it. 5,100, really good price tag too. So cash play makes a lot of sense. Cole Custer, 63. I think I prefer Dylan, honestly. What's your story here?
he's almost blue. He ran the Xfinity race and did really well. He's been really, really trying on road courses, and he's been decent. He's got a bunch of place differential potential here. I think he
Okay.
could definitely get up into like 10 places at least at 63. I mean, that's a gold mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, I'll have some Custer. I don't
He
know.
could be. He's probably this one of the most solid point per dollar play on the slate, I think.
Okay. Yeah, average finish of 18th in his last two here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, as long as
Harrison
he doesn't end up under Martin Truex Jr., we're fine. But I don't think
or
it's going to
that
rain.
that or next to Harrison Burton in a turn. So
Yeah,
which is who we're talking about here in the 21. Now, I was trying to talk about how DiBenedetto had a lot of good history with the Wood Brothers 21, and then I remembered Harrison Burton drives a 21, and yeah, I'm not going to go down that road. So
well, he was
fading.
top five last road race.
Come on, not letting variance take me away from my process. I'm not doing it.
Flying squirrel finds nut.
Thank you. Yes, Eric Jones, 43 car, 6,700. Yeah, this is. I swear I thought you were going prime with Eric Jones. I was surprised to see Custer over Jones.
Um, he's been good, but there's just been some points where he's just kind of lost his speed
Yeah,
at times. Um, 25th. So yeah, I definitely like it, but and
right.
I think either one, but I think really Custer's the one. Just running the Xfinity race, I think with those extra reps, I think that's going to be the determining factor. Really helps.
Okay. Next up, we have Corey LaJoy, 5,400.
He ever since that like miracle race that he had at Atlanta, he's
Mm-hmm.
just really like slowed down. Like his practice
Yeah,
times have been horrible. He just really hasn't. So I think
yeah,
he's a fade for me.
yeah. I got to agree. Mike Rockenfeller.
Didn't look great in practice. He was only 35th, and um, it's a Spire car, which isn't great. I could see this thing breaking down and not even like making it, or
Lord,
being like a couple laps down.
yeah, no thanks. Loris Hezemans. We've seen him race here before, but nah,
Yeah, but these Hezeberg cars, like, have the tech has been horrible.
terrible.
Like, I don't understand, like, when you have like parity and they're almost the same cars, how these cars could be so bad compared to the other ones.
Just a team not knowing what they're doing. Eric Almirola.
I think he's a solid cash play here. I mean, definitely is. He's not a great road course guy, but he's better than 35th, especially these
Yeah,
guys around him.
right.
And at 62, like he should be able to pick off like 5, 10 drivers potentially.
Yeah, I think I'll play him in GPPs. Danil Kavat. Nope.
Another fade, another Hesselberg car.
Kyle Tilley.
Not interested either. He was the dead last in
Worst car in
practice
practice.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
If
And
he
that
was
brings
going
us
any slower,
to
he'd be going backwards.
pretty much Christopher Bell, 6,700.
This is hard to stomach because the Toyotas have been bad, but he's the only one that's really had some speed. He had an issue. I think he blew up the engine or wrecked or something in
In
practice or qualifying.
qualifying.
Yeah,
Something had to have happened in qualifying for him.
something happened. I can't remember. I was working today and trying to focus on Xfinity for everybody. So,
Well, let me look that up for the viewers' sake real
but
quick so we can get that
less than
right.
we only have 2 minutes left. So
I saw that. Yeah, I know. I was trying to.
well, Cody Ware on the last guy, I'll say yes, only because he's starting last and can go no place but up, and he's only 4,800. And his Rick Ware car is not as bad as these Husselman cars, so you could at least get 3 place differential points there.
All right, Christopher Bell, blue and engine.
Okay.
So
No, that doesn't really worry me. Gibbs will get a brand new engine in there; they'll be fine. And it's just like you kind of got to play this chalk here in cash
Yep.
because he's decent here. He's a good road course driver, and he gets up into like the top 15, and you don't have him, and he gets like 23 place differential points, then you're done.
You're out of the money. All right, that'll wrap things up. Any final thoughts? We got a minute and 30.
Nope. Just check the video back for about half an hour before lock to see if we have any major updates on anything. If anybody fails like tack or makes changes and have to start with the back, so it could really like Tyler Reddick from the back. I don't know if he can get back up there, but if it's like Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson, I think they can. So it all depends on who it is.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. All right, guys, thank you for listening in. You can always follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. That is at MegaRoller31. Follow us on our website, FSIDFS.com, or on our Twitter handle, FSI_DFS. All right, guys, enjoy the Watkins Glen, the Go Bowling at the Glen.